What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Monday Night Live. What's happening? We still doing it. You know how we do it. Oh my God. I'm tripping. Where my phone at? I got no light simp in here. Just the light of my monitor going on. Hold on. Let me activate the nano leafs. Not a sponsor. But if y'all want to, holla at a brother. There we go. I love my little nano leafs, man. I don't know if y'all ever seen these. You can turn them on and off by the phone. And then let me see. You can change the lower, higher, and then I can do the different colors. I can do like Christmas lights, all this kind of stuff. Changing colors now. There's blue, but I'm gonna stick with the bright whites so we can do this show. What's going on, my good people? What is happening? Who's in the chat? Who's in the chat? Little G. Little G, I gotta get you a thing, man, because you've been showing love, man. So hold tight. Link comments, users. I thought you could do it here, but I guess you can't. Interesting. Delete, put user in timeout, ban user. I'll try to do the thing where I can give you the monkey wrench because I always see you in here. So that's a way of letting me know which people always, are in the chat. Let me see if I can I don't know. Hold on. Add as there we go. Let me see if this will work. Standard. Bam. No, I don't know what that did. I think you're supposed to get a message to let you know you're a standard moderator or something. But I don't know if I did it right. I don't know. But in any case, I appreciate you being here, bro. We're gonna do some mock drafts tonight. Definitely gonna do some mock drafts tonight. Got a lot of stuff going on. Had a conversation tonight with a friend of mine, and we got on the whole WNBA thing, and he got on the tangent about not watching women, not wanting to watch women, all of that kind of stuff. And I understand that because I had that point of view not 2 years ago. But I was, I find myself trying to convince him, and it's like I had to fall back. Like I ain't gonna convince him. It's like if you don't believe it or if you don't want to check it out, you ain't gonna do it. What's up, Bob? See, Bob, you got the wrench now. Okay, so I must have done it right. But yeah, so we were talking about that and just trying to explain to him because I find it funny that I've got all of these thoughts about it because I've been invested in it for the past year. And I can say that with confidence, like I'm invested. Like I mentioned before, this time last year. What's up, Don Vaughn? What's going on, dude? I mentioned like this time last year, the NCAA women's. I couldn't mention any names. I couldn't rattle off any names, any of them, let alone WNBA. What's going on, Jason Sink? Jason, you got your wrench too, man. So I must have done it right. So I'm good. But yeah, I couldn't rattle off any names and I couldn't do any of that. And now, I can rattle off Paige Beckers and say Paige Beckers and say her name correctly. Not when you look at how she spells it, it's Bukers, but it's pronounced Beckers. And then Juju Watkins, and then Hannah Hidalgo at Notre Dame, and Malaysia Fulwiley and Tessa Johnson at South Carolina, and Lisa Bluter, the head coach at Iowa, and just being able to rattle off that many names. And I could, if I sit here and think about it, Audie Crooks, Raven Johnson, Isaiah James, Lauren Betts, a bunch of names. So the wrenches, and I just kind of got into this. Shout out to my boy Tone DeShields. Check out Chalk It Up Sports if you get a chance. That's my guy. Tone turned me onto that, and the wrenches. You can make people like the standard moderator, but I can assign you the wrench. So every time you log into my stream, I know that's someone that's been here before. That's where that comes from. So basically what that means is if you got a wrench, that means you're here, you've been here before, and I appreciate you. You need a wrench so you can mute yourself. Burr, where you at? Where is it cold at right now? But that's what it is, man. So basically, man, if you join in the chat, if you keep coming back to us, become a part of our family, I give you the wrench that lets me know that you wanted the pro fan family. You know what I mean? And you have something to say, you have something to contribute. And I appreciate that. So that is my little bookmark. So I know who you are. So not necessarily a placeholder. A placeholder would be if I give you a star and I can basically YouTube lets you get a little favorite list of if you get a lot of people in the chat and everybody got something to say, so you can put a star by the comments so you don't miss everything. So, but the wrench is just the way that I can tell who's been here before, who's coming back, that sort of thing. So keep coming back and I can get you a wrench for sure. Burr, why is that your screen name? I think that's funny as hell. So shout out to you for that. But why is that your screen name? And you from Houston, Texas? Because it ain't hardly cold in Texas. So that's funny. But yeah, man, we keeping it going, man. And but the conversation about the WNBA thing is very interesting, and I find it very interesting that I find myself talking up the league. I'm gonna get their little. I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna get their league pass. I shouldn't say their little league pass because that's disrespectful, and that when you put little in front of something, now you got your little podcast, and that's kind of disrespected, meaning that whoever's saying it doesn't think anything of it. So I don't want to do that. I am going to get the game pass for the WNBA. It's like $40. I get all of the games, not just the ones on the network, but if I want to see Chicago play or if I want to see Vegas play or something like that, I can tune into all of the games. And it's only $40. That's a way to support. I'm going to get me a hat from the Indiana Fever that it's got the font that looks like Stranger Things. And I'm a big Stranger Things fan, so that Hawkins, Indiana, that whole thing matches. So I appreciate that. So I'm going to support, and I'm going to buy merch, and I'm going to watch the games, and hopefully it is good basketball. And from what I've heard, last couple years, it's been getting better because there was a point where it didn't look like it was good basketball at all. And I got to be honest with that situation. It wasn't. Now it's different. Now you got marketable stars, you got marketable names. They're selling out tickets. They selling out season tickets. So that means something. You know what I mean? So, absolutely, Burr. Shut down the trolls. But honestly, I haven't gotten too many trolls. I've had a couple of conversations where like Cowboy fans jump in. But listen, I don't mind talking with Cowboy fans. One of my good friends that's been on my show a few times, he is a Cowboy fan. He's a Cowboy fan living in the 215 area code. So, but he's common sense. He don't mind talking X's and O's and keeping it real. I can talk with you all night. I don't care who you're a fan of. I got friends that used to play for the Cowboys. So, no, Don, the wrenches don't shut down the trolls. The wrenches, if you have a wrench, you have the power to like kick somebody out of the chat. So that's what that's for. What's up, Philly? You got your wrench. I appreciate you. So I'm catching on, So, but it's pretty good. Yeah, man, it just lets you, like, you can silence somebody, or I still have the ultimate power. But normally what happens is you get so many people in the chat, and me trying to talk and be in the, in my thoughts and then read my notes and stuff like that. A lot of times I miss stuff, and if somebody's being disrespectful or, you might get some people in here and might try to, put a porn site in or something stupid like that. If I don't catch it, somebody else might catch it, and they might be able to silence him and do something about it. So it's just a way of getting some help. It's all good, bro. Don Vaughn, where you from, dude? Where you from? Where you listening from? Ever since I've been doing this, ever since I started streaming my nephew's games from Australia, I've been getting a lot of people from overseas. It's all good, man. Are you in ATL? Okay. It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you being here, bro. Listen, man, I don't mind Niners fans, man. I don't mind Niners fans. So we can all talk ball, bro. We can all talk ball, man. Long as you don't come with no toxic stuff, I can talk any fan base. I'm Eagles and Bengals. I got a twin sister in Atlanta, bro. So I'm in Atlanta from time to time, but most of my time is up in South Jersey, Philly. I'm a former Eagle, so Eagles is my thing. I had a twin sister down there, and my mother lives in Atlanta, so it's all good. What's up, Bob? Bob in here, straight to business. Straight to business, Bob. Switching to 3-4. What do you see Edgerrin Cooper playing if we get him inside, outside, and then ran a 4-2-5? I'm sure he can play outside linebacker 3-4. I don't know. It would depend on if we're gonna do the true 3-4, depending on what Fangio does with it, what little twists and turns. I would think he would be one of the inside linebackers, and that's something you can game plan because you're gonna see what his skill set is when he gets into camp. Devin White ain't going nowhere, but you can flip-flop him. So, and I think they are very similar play styles because Devin White, again, not very big, but fast as hell. Devin White has got like wide receiver speed at linebacker. So, but I know at some point in time, there's going to come a situation where he's going to lose the battle of physics. He's going to come across somebody that's 320 coming his way, coming to that AB gap, moving up to the second level, and he's going to have to handle that. Now, normally, you look at all of the linebackers, you look at like we're talking about Edge Cooper, you look at Eichenberg, you look at Peyton Wilson, Junior Colson, even Trot Jr., Jeremiah Trotter Jr. You're talking about undersized guys that got to use their maneuverability to get out of the way. And you can do that. You can use your speed and elusiveness to avoid the block and kind of get to the tackle. However, you're not going to be able to do that every time. At some point in time, some of those guys are going to have to fill the hole and take on that pulling guard or that tackle coming up to the second level. You're going to have to take him on head up. And I said this afternoon, the only way you can beat the offensive line like that and equalize it, because you're gonna if somebody's coming at you full speed and they got 100 pounds on you, you're gonna lose that battle. That's what I talk about when I'm talking about physics. You're not gonna win that battle. However, if your film study is to the point where you can recognize stuff and you can get to the point of attack, you can get to the hole before that offensive lineman gets there and beat him to the spot, you disrupt the play because you only got a split second on offense. So as soon as that running back gets the ball, if he's trying to go through that hole and you meet that offensive guard or that tackle or that center in the hole, he's got to go a different direction. He has to. Because if the impact is in the hole, then the hole is filled. So you got to make a different decision. So there's ways to equalize that. But that too. You guess wrong. You guess right, you guess wrong. It's going to go both ways. And that's what I mean when I say linebackers have to have elite level film study to be able to see the stuff before it happens. So you can shut it down. And that's what'll happen. That's exactly what'll happen. So it's a game plan thing. It's being like, depending on what type you want to play, because with the 3-4, you got to have some linebackers that can run. But say we come up against some people that, what happens when Baltimore comes to town if we play Baltimore. I don't even know what the schedule is. I don't think we play Baltimore regular season, but you understand what I'm saying. King Henry's coming downhill. He ain't trying to bounce outside. He's coming guard, tackle, gap every time. And there is no secret. You got to stop him. So what you do is they're going to shift and put some things in motion. But you can also get some good play action after that. That benefits the offense. If they know you aggressive and you come in to fill that hole, you play action and you throw it right over the head. Because if you come in to fill that hole, that means there's a gap behind you. So that's the chess match, man. That's the chess match. So it depends on what they're going to do. They could put him in a touche. But if you do that, you got to make sure you got back. That means that your secondary is playing well so they can cover up mistakes. So the offensive lineman covers for the linebackers. The linebackers cover for the offensive lineman. And the linebackers also cover for the secondary. So everybody has to cover for everybody. If the defensive line, if they don't get home, if they don't penetrate, but the linebackers make the tackle at the line of scrimmage or a tackle for a loss, then the linebackers just covered for a bad play by the defensive line, and vice versa. If a linebacker leaves home, gets caught up, and maybe he blitzes too late, or they got it blocked correctly, but he's left his position because they practiced it all week for him to get home, and he doesn't. But the defensive end forces the quarterback to throw the ball away or something like that, then that means the defensive line covered for the linebackers. And what happens if everybody gets beat? What happens if the offensive line get everybody walled? There's no pressure on the quarterback, but the quarterback throws an interception because of a great play by the secondary. That means the secondary covered for everybody. So everybody's got a job to do, and the defense, it's a little bit easier to cover up those mistakes because you could have a horrible play on your defense by 10 out of 11. And if a DB or a safety makes a great play and gets that pick or that pass knockdown, that covers the whole play. So you got to put your defense together where everybody can work together and you got each other's back. That's where that comes from. So, it goes both ways, but we got to have the people in place that can make those plays for sure. We got to have those people in place that can make those plays. So I'm interested to see, because now I'm hearing all of the rumors about us moving up and possibly trying to go after Kenyon Mitchell, but my choice for DB would be Cooper DeJean. But if they can go up and get a Kenyon Mitchell, or I know they like that kid Wiggins. I shouldn't say I don't like him. I would prefer another player, somebody that's a little bit bigger. I want somebody 190, 195. Because if he's 185, he's going to report to camp probably 185, maybe 190, but he's going to lose 10 pounds while he in camp. And that's not his normal playing weight. He got to build that up. He's still a rookie. So, yeah, Jay, you're right. It's a rumor every year with Howie. Don't nothing change. Every year is nobody knows what he's going to do. And I like that. You keep everybody guessing. Fans are really excited about Vic, but what has he really accomplished in 20 plus years in the league? I mean, not for nothing, he had the Dolphins as a top 10 defense last year. So, I I mean, you're not going to have too many times where defenses are just, you're going to have great defensive players. But at the end of the day, like, somebody going to get beat. Look at how, as good as Detroit's defense was last year. It's got to happen on both sides of the ball. As good as San Francisco's defense was last year, they couldn't get it done when they had to get it done. You know what I mean? As good as Baltimore's defense was, what happened? So everybody gets a turn. Everybody gets a turn. As good as again, Miami was a top 10 defense last year. What were they the year before that? What were they before Vic Fangio got there? So you can't just blame it on the defense. It's got to be some give and take. Our defense was good when we went to the Super Bowl, and then what happened last year? We looked like crap. So, I mean, you know, you gotta have the right people at the right place at the right time. Period. Timing is everything. Coaching matters. We saw that last year. Towards the end of the year, our coaching sucked. We should not have had to be in that game with Tampa Bay. But James Bradberry gets beat on 6 consecutive plays against Seattle. And then I'm looking at, everybody's mad at James Bradberry, and I'm looking at the coaches like, you couldn't see that coming? That's what you get paid to do. You get paid to see that. And me as a fan, I can look at that, and the way James Bradberry was playing up until that point, you knew they were going to go after him. Because if I was calling the offense for Seattle, I would have done the same thing. You find the weak point and you exploit it. And you run at that person until they prove they can stop it. That is nothing new. You did that in Little League. You did that in high school. You did that in college. And if you got a defense and you know there is a clear weak point, your job as an offensive coordinator is to exploit that weakness until they figure out a way to stop it. I would have ran. Well, they did. They did. I would have ran at James Bradberry every chance I got. And that's exactly what they did. 6 plays in a row, and they went down the field and they scored. And we ended up losing that game. And that changed pretty much our trajectory in the playoffs. And at that particular point, we still had an opportunity to win a division, but we kept coughing it up. We kept giving it up. And I said this all last year, Jay, you was on here, so you remember it. The problems we were having were not complicated. They were not complicated at all. And I didn't understand that. And that was frustrating. That was very frustrating. So I don't think we'll be in that situation this year. Not at all. And I trust Vic Fangio and the things that he wants to do. And I think we'll have the pieces on the board to do that. Now, my one big thing is I like fast linebackers. I like a mix. I like a little bit of equilibrium, but the one thing I say is linebackers can run. Devin White is fast. He can run. Warner from San Francisco, he can run. But they can't cover. There's a difference between being fast and being able to run with a fast tight end or a fast running back out the backfield. But they cannot cover. They cannot open and close their hips at speed and keep that distance tight when a receiver changes direction. That is how you cover. That is why cornerbacks get paid so much money. That's why everybody's trying to get Kenyon Mitchell. That's why Sauce Gardner can do the things that he did. Some people they can open and close their hips, they can change direction. And when A.J. Brown goes into his break, they can keep it a yard to a yard and a half distance that you can make up and get to the ball and get that pass deflection. That's what everybody wants from these cornerbacks. That's why somebody like Nate Wiggins at his size is so sought after. His coverability, his recovery speed. Let me be honest with you. If you've ever went back and you watched Deion Sanders when he was with Atlanta and when he was with the Cowboys, that's why he was so good. Deion Sanders was so fast that he could jog and run with almost any wide receiver in the league. And when that ball got in the air and he put it in the third and fourth gear, he could make up that distance. He was that fast. He could make up that distance. Now, he couldn't tackle worth of crap. You can go look up the famous play with Bo Jackson, and he says it himself. He said, I went and got him. He said, but Bo gave me the, hands to the face. Deion was the real deal. And you couldn't throw, it's my opinion, Randy Moss couldn't have caught balls on Deion Sanders. That's how fast Deion was. And you know how fast Randy Moss was. Deion was faster. The only person that I have seen that was as fast as Deion and at that level at defensive back was Darrell Green with the Redskins back in the day. I know some people would say Darrell Revis, but Darrell Revis was good, but in my opinion, he wasn't Deion good. And Darrell Revis was damn good. But as far as just out and out speed, nah. Darrell Green and Deion. And other than that, I don't know who else you're going to throw out there. So, but I'm saying that to say it's nice to have people, especially with our experience from last year with the defense. I need some guys that can come up and make a hit. I do not want to see business decisions. I don't want to see business decisions. I don't want to see a 180-pound defensive back coming up and trying to pull down somebody like Dallas Goedert or Brock Bowers from the side, or trying to hip drop them. Because now we're going to get hit with the penalty and all of that kind of stuff. I need somebody that can come up and pop. I like Reed Blankenship. I like Sidney Brown. I like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I even like Avonte Maddox when they can stay on the field, because we need physical players like that. The problem was both of them, C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Avonte Maddox. You got big heart in small bodies, and it tore their bodies up. Both of them, C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Avonte Maddox. I am hoping that when it's all said and done, they will be able to walk away from the game. I hope the game doesn't spit them out. So, you just got to be careful with it, man. So, we'll see what's going to happen. Let me see. Talk your trash. There we go. Got busy. I didn't even send out no reminders for the show, but it's all good. The people that's supposed to be here are here. Let me see something. Draft day, Thursday. Oh, NFL draft. I want to see, because I want to get this out right now. The draft starts at 8. So I'm probably going to start my stream around 7:30. So I'll be streaming reactions for the whole first round. So Bow 316 got the wrench. I feel you, bro. I appreciate you. Took me a while to get to it, but I got there. But yeah, so I'm thinking probably 7:30 on Thursday. And I think they're just going to do the first round on Thursday. So, yeah, probably get ready to do that. So that should be cool. I know everybody's going to be doing draft parties. So I'm going to try to see if I can get my boy to jump in. I'm gonna put out a shout to I'm gonna call it in existence. I'm gonna see if I can get my man William Thomas, to jump on for maybe a couple minutes if he's not busy. So we'll see what's gonna happen. It should be fun though. I'm looking forward to it. Everybody's kind of up in arms or a little anxious about what's going to happen with the whole thing with Isaiah Rogers. Don't blame you. Um, I think he will be reinstated before the year starts, but I think they're at least going to give him a calendar year. If they go earlier than that, that will be great. But they at least got to give him a calendar year, and it was June 29th. June 29th will be a calendar year for Isaiah Rogers. So you have to give him at least that long. You have to give the NFL at least a calendar year. And I know everybody's looking at all of the other guys that got reinstated. I'm going to assume that Howie Roseman and the Eagles have some semblance of what's going to happen. I'm going to assume that. I don't know it, but I'm going to assume that they may have had some type of communication, whether they called or the NFL got in contact with them. I'm just spitballing. I'm guessing, right? But I would think that the Eagles know what's going to happen, and they're going to act accordingly in the draft. Maybe that's why all of the buzz is about the Eagles moving up to get Kenyon or Wiggins or what was the other guy? Hold on for a sec. What's the other cornerback? Not Nate Wiggins, Kenyon Mitchell, and what's the other guy? I know y'all know. Let me see. There we go. Nate Wiggins. Let me see who it was. Who was the first cornerback in this mock draft? Kenyon Mitchell, and then you got Terrion Arnold. Thank you. Not Kool-Aid. Terrion Arnold. So the word is they're trying to move up to get either Kenyon Mitchell or Terrion Arnold. Based on the mocks I'm running, they would have to at least move up to number 10. But it's hard to think. It's hard to figure out what everybody else is going to do. You know what I mean? You know what the first 5 are going to do. Maybe the Patriots go in a different direction. Maybe they take Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe they take a quarterback. But either way, it's not a cornerback. I don't see the Chargers doing it. I don't see New York. New York's probably going to go for a quarterback or a wide receiver. The Titans, offensive tackle, because they got to help out Bryce. No, that Bryce is in Carolina. My bad. Edge rusher. He was at NovaCare for a long time. Yeah, I heard those reports, but you never know what they mean. It's just a visit. He could have just gotten a conversation with the lunch lady. Maybe they lived in the same neighborhood. You never know. All of that stuff is subterfuge, man. They sending out false smoke signals. Let me be honest with you. I don't think Kool-Aid is going to go late in the first round, because a lot of my mocks, I got Kool-Aid at 50. So who knows what's going to happen? So right now, like, I'm at 22. Let me see, 27. Well, if I go, let's say right now, because I did this before, I take Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma, right? So I'm gonna let that go. Everybody else is gone, and now I'm at pick 50. Yeah, he's gone. So the best I can get Kamari Lassiter. and edge. Because he even like at 50, at pick 50. So at pick 53, you can still get Edgerrin, Peyton, Cedric Gray, Junior Colson, Trevin Wallace, that's the kid from Kentucky, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., James Williams, and what's the kid from Michigan? What's his name? What's his name? I just did a video about him today. Mari Coleman. Daggone it. How come Lord have mercy. My memory is trash, y'all. My memory is trash, dude. I just did a video about this dude, and I can't even remember his name. Lord have mercy. I got to go to my page and look at the damn thumbnail. Junior Colson. Good Lord. Ugh, I'm terrible, man. Bob. My short-term memory, man. It is not good. Good Lord. But yeah, Junior Colson, all of them guys, man. You got good picks. You got great picks. Max Melton might fall to us. Lad McConkey, if they want to go wide receiver. Like in this draft, Cooper DeJean didn't go to 38. Good Lord. Xavier Worthy went 33. Okay. So it's Kool-Aid went 26. So it's a lot of things that could happen. It's a lot of things that can happen. It just Nate Wiggins is 6'1", 173. That's a business decision waiting to happen. Yes, it is. Phil McConkey is the son of or Lad McConkey is the son of Phil. Yes. That is going, in my opinion, that is going to be 2024's Puka Nacua. Lad McConkey from Georgia. Yep. He'll be a second round, maybe third round pick. And you look at somebody like that because of his dad, that's somebody that knows how to play. The same thing with Christian McCaffrey. That's somebody that knows how to play, period. So, what's it look like my lip is bleeding, but it's not. But yeah, man, I'm glad we ain't got to worry about this no more. I'm glad we got Devontae Smith done before the draft. Definitely glad about that. So that's just something that we don't even have to worry about no more. You know what I'm saying? Don't even have to worry about it. Let me see. I'm trying to see. I thought they had other mocks. Yeah, see, everybody's doing just round one. And everybody knows what's going to happen in the first 10, 15 picks. So it is. I don't expect anybody shaking up the apple cart. I think the big question mark is what is the Patriots going to do? Are they going to take a quarterback or are they going to take Marvin Harrison Jr.? Marvin Harrison Jr. That's a weird situation to be in. Marvin Harrison Jr. is to me a lock. The kid's going to be great. He's been around greatness his whole life. Quarterback, whoever they get at quarterback, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get. What would have happened if the Texans had selected Bryce Young and Carolina got CJ? Would CJ have been as successful in Carolina? Would Bryce Young have flourished down there with DeMeco Ryans and his crew? Right place, right coaches, right time. Everything, man. Everything. Bryce Young was running for his life in Carolina. They just drafted that big ass tackle out of North Carolina State. Ikwane. Ike. They call him Ike or whatever. But all I know is Bryce Young was running for his life. That brother didn't get no help. Yeah. Yeah, but Frank Reich, you know, what's how far has Frank Reich made it to? Did he go? Did he go to the Super Bowl once? I don't think he did, right? And I know that's Sirianni's boy, but you know, it's a slippery slope, man, and that's why I don't take like you got to look at the whole picture. Let me say it like that because I know there's a lot of people that are down on Nick Sirianni and his antics and how he goes about his business. A lot of people don't like that, but there are a lot of coaches out there who, on the outside looking in, um, that people would rank a hell of a lot higher than Nick Sirianni, and ain't got close to sniffing the Super Bowl. And the one thing we forget, and I think people shortchanged it with Sirianni a lot, is Sirianni is 3 for 3 since he's been in the league. He done been to the playoffs all 3 years. He got 2 first round exits and a Super Bowl berth. He went to the Super Bowl in his tenure with the Philadelphia Eagles. That is a win. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care what you don't like about him, not liking his attitude. He talks too much to the fans. All of that stuff is valid. So if you're going to criticize him for that, you got to give him his props because he made it to the show in his second year on the team. You got to give him his props. You can't talk shit on him and forget about all of the good stuff he did. And me and my buddy Bob was talking about this today. Like, in my opinion, he is the main reason that locker room didn't split when all of that nonsense was going on about AJ Brown not speaking and Jalen Hurts' personality and all that other bullshit stuff. That bull jive, as Dion would say. He was, in my opinion, he was the one that kept that locker room together because he has that type of personality. What's going on, James? James, I got to give you a monkey wrench, bro. Let me see. Let me see if I can do it. Let me see. Let me see. Got to get my boy James in there. Hold on. I gotta. I'll get you in there. But yeah, man, I think he was the main reason that locker room did not fracture. So, um, just the relationships he has. Um, Forget about the stuff on the podium because he still isn't a great podium speaker. But in the big scheme of things, neither was Parcells, neither is Andy Reid. Um, you know, Don, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that's just his personality. He is Nick Sirianni is your typical, stereotypical, loud, um, very loyal to a fault style Italian dude. That's what Sirianni is. All about family. He always got his kids at the podium and all of that kind of stuff. Um, that's just his personality. That's not a knock against him. How you gonna knock him? And you know he got us to the Super Bowl. So I mean, it is what it is. A lot of people don't necessarily like it. I don't know if they necessarily want that, but it's entertainment. It's entertainment. Bob, you right, dude. It's that's a rough one. So the that Bob, that's not hard to figure out. He made the opposite decision that Doug Peterson made. When we got rid of Doug, you kind of find out Doug wanted to make some moves and do some things different and promote some of his own people. And Howie and Jeffrey didn't want that. So when Doug was trying to bring some of his own people, uh, it's Jeff's team. So it's my way or the highway. So Doug Peterson took the highway. He said, if I can't bring my people up and do it the way I want to do it, I'm out. So he bounced. That is no different than what Parcells did back in the day in Dallas. Hey, if you want me to cook the meal, at least let me buy the groceries. Remember that? It's the same thing. It's the same thing Jerry Jones went through again with Jimmy Johnson's in Dallas. It was a control thing. It was a control thing, except in this situation, Nick Sirianni said, okay, I'll do whatever you need me to do to keep my job. And I understand that. I can't get mad at him for that. Chris, possibly, but I look at it from the standpoint, and I know it didn't happen like this, but I'm just using this as an analogy. Well, before we hired Kellen Moore, I was looking at Cliff Kingsbury. But apparently, Cliff Kingsbury wanted too much power, wanted to bring in his own people. And what that meant was that they probably would have had to get rid of Jeff Stoutland. Not no, but hell no. That brother is untouchable. But I understand if you hire me as the offensive coordinator and I feel the best way for me to do my job to the best of my ability is to have these certain people on the squad with me. Now, Eagles ownership said, okay, but we can't get rid of this, this, and this. And they said, well, then we're going to agree to disagree. And he went his separate ways, and now he's in Washington. I'm okay with that. He has a right to ask for who he wants. Doug Peterson had earned the right to ask for who he wanted. And as the owner of the team, you got a right to say no. And then you know what you do? Good luck to you in your next endeavor. And Doug Peterson ended up in Jacksonville. That's the way it goes. That is the nature of the beast. And I'm good with that. But we are in a fortunate situation where we do have people on our staff that we would consider, and most people will consider, untouchable. And if Cliff Kingsbury couldn't meet those prerequisites, so be it. Time to go in a different direction. Do you think Cliff Kingsbury was better than Kellen Moore? I don't. I think Kellen Moore was the better of those two choices. And now the problem we have is, how long is Kellen Moore going to stand around? How long is he going to hang around the team? Because what happens if Jalen Hurts just balls out and we go back deep in the playoffs again? What happens? Does Kellen Moore get a head coaching gig somewhere? Probably. And then we're right back in the situation we were in at the beginning. So the new era of coaches, you get more and more coaches that played. You get more coaches that played. Shout out to D'Amico because he played here for the Eagles. I remember watching Antonio Pierce when he was with the Giants. All about that business on that defense. And it's funny how all of these defensive coaches, easy to find somebody that can run an offense. Especially, finding a good coach is pretty, I won't say easy, but that's easier to do than finding a good quarterback. So, agreed. 100%, bro. Smartest thing he could have done was get him. I agree with you 100%. So, yeah, man. So we're gonna get it done. Love of Power. Nick, which else? Yeah, but think about it like this, Chris. That's the way it should be. That's the way. That's the way it should be. I ain't got nothing but good stuff um, with Jeffrey Lurie. I've told that story with Jeffrey. I met Jeffrey. He bought the team. I was a rookie free agent in '93. Jeffrey Lurie bought the team in '94, and I ended up getting cut that offseason because they drafted Charlie Garner. And if you follow the Eagles, you know what Charlie Garner did. And let me be honest with you, that was the right. I can swallow my ego on that one. That was the right move. But I tell people that was a core memory for me. We won a preseason game in '94. I don't even know what my stats were that game. It wasn't great. I didn't do bad, but it wasn't like I broke off a 50-yard touchdown or something like that. I think I had a couple carries for a couple yards, and that was it. Nothing, didn't do anything spectacular. Jeffrey Lurie shook everybody's hand that walked in that locker room. And he looked me in my eye and told me, "Good game, Marcus." And I say that because there was no reason for that man to know who my name was. There was no reason for him to know that. He could have just said, good job, guy, anything. I wasn't a starter. I was a returning rookie, still trying to earn my stripes. But I remember that. And ever since then, I could bring up pictures with me and Jeff at the alumni events and all of that kind of stuff. And he's always nice and remembers me and all of that kind of stuff. So that type of stuff matters. And that it took a long time, but eventually it trickled down. He had to go through, get finished with Kotite, and then go to Ray Rhodes, and then finally get to Andy Reid before he has some type of stability. And then you couldn't quite get over the mountain. And then, with Chip Kelly and then Doug Peterson and all of that kind of stuff. And if you remember, that's why I wasn't so hard on Nick Sirianni when everybody hated that first presser, the flowers and all of that kind of stuff. Everybody hated that. But if you remember, when we hired Doug Peterson as head coach, everybody was like, what the hell is this? Like, we couldn't find anybody else. Nobody took that seriously. Matter of fact, I remember when they signed Doug Peterson, when Andy Reid got here and they drafted Donovan McNabb, and Andy Reid brought Doug Peterson to start as quarterback from Green Bay because he spent a lot of time in Green Bay backing up Brett Favre, never played, but he knew the offense. So when he came and started for the Eagles, he was not good. Doug Peterson was not good at all. But what he did was he taught Donovan the offense. And he was good enough to hold it together until Andy Reid was ready to pull the trigger on Donovan McNabb. And they finally put him in there and they let him go. Doug Peterson knew what was going on. He held it down as long as he could. And then they finally pulled the cord on Donovan, started that puppy up and let him roll. And you saw Donovan is still arguably the best quarterback the Eagles have ever had. Every time I say that, people want to get, Nick Foles won it. And it was like, you look at Nick Foles' record as a starter everywhere he went. He got the Super Bowl ring, and I will never take that away from him. Nick Foles balled the hell out. He beat the best to ever do it. He went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady and outslugged him. Tom Brady threw the ball for, 500-something yards in the Super Bowl? And we beat him. We beat him. Head-to-head. We went toe-to-toe. But if you look at Nick Foles' record, every place he has started, he has never finished a season where he was the starter. Never. He either got benched or he got hurt. So we got the green emerald colored glasses because of what he did here in Philly. But everywhere else he's been, it ain't worked out. And that leads to my point. People, places, things. You're at the right place with the right people at the right time. For whatever reason, Nick Foles, Doug Peterson, they clicked. Or at least they clicked for a year. And they clicked when it had to click. Everything happened. We had guys that were making plays when they had to make plays. We didn't get that in the Super Bowl. Quez Watkins catches that pass. If our special teams come through in one series, if we don't let that damn punt return go all the way back inside the 20, if Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble that ball, but it's hard to even say the fumble because he made up for it. That was early in the first half, wasn't it? But he more than made up for that. I'm with you, Bob. I believe that. I believe that. If Alshon doesn't drop that ball, you are 100% correct. It's funny. I thought I would have seen Alshon at like an alumni event, but I guess he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, but he's still, Chicago dude. His best years were with the Bears. So, but like I've seen Darren Sproles at a lot of stuff before, but it's funny the people that want to stick around. So, yeah, man. If you're old enough, everybody in here has to train somebody that there was a replacement. Yeah, yeah. You're right. That's the way it goes, and that's the one thing people they know it, but they don't understand the gravity of it. Every year, on every team, somebody's coming to take your job. Every year. When I got to the Eagles in '93, it was me and Vaughn Hebron. We were both free agent rookies, undrafted, at the same position. And they had Saran Stacy, who was from Alabama. They had Tony Brooks, who was from Notre Dame, big schools, SEC, that's when Notre Dame was in its heyday. Then we had James Joseph, Auburn, Heath Sherman, Herschel Walker. We had big names in the offense. And me and Vaughn both made the team at the same position. That never happens. So you get the right people. You Bob, not for long, bro. 100%. 100%. Right place with the right people at the right time. I think Vaughn ended up leaving. He tore his knee. I think he tore his knee with the Eagles. Then he rehab, and then he got signed by the Broncos. Ended up winning a Super Bowl ring. I think 2 Super Bowl rings with the Broncos. Right place with the right people at the right time. My boy, one of my best friends, one of my best friends, Ron Carpenter. He was played with undrafted, played with the Bengals, played with the Jets. 1 year he was with the Jets. He was like 3rd in the league in kick returns. But got with the Rams. Greatest show on turf. Won a ring with the Rams. Right place with the right people at the right time. That's the way it goes sometimes, man. That's the way it goes. So I think we might have a situation like that here. We almost had that with Shane Steichen. For some reason, him and Jalen clicked, and the way he was calling the offense and stuff like that, we still had some things we ain't necessarily like. Bubble screens and lack of screens and lack of motion. Those were still there, but the offense was running so efficiently that it was hard to complain. We were nitpicking stuff to complain about. We were nitpicking shit. So it's like you gotta stop it and just accept it for what it is. We knew the offense was bend but don't break, and unfortunately, in the Super Bowl, It broke. You've been using that same metal rod, and there's finally it snapped. Finally, it snapped. So, I think we're in a good spot. I think Vic Fangio is going to pay dividends. And if you look totally, everybody talks about the Vic Fangio defense. Who runs a variation of his scheme? Who does this? This is part of the Vic Fangio tree, and blah 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 blah. We got the man. We got the tree, not a branch from the tree. We got the damn tree, and that's going to matter. I believe that's going to pay dividends for us. And I keep saying this until the draft this Thursday. Our defense, as it stands right now, is better than what we had last year, in my opinion. I think we're going to be healthier. We got a better defense. We got a better linebacking core, and it's going to get better because they know they're going to get somebody in the draft. And our secondary is better. So we're going to get some more pieces on defense, on the defensive line, and that should be able to pay dividends. So we'll see. Our offense is going to be off the chain. I will tell anybody, you go back and you look at Kellen Moore's time with the Cowboys. Look at what he did with Dak Prescott and Zeke. He likes to run, play action, and he likes to create space off of the play action. His run-pass ratio is extremely balanced. And I'm just happy for the fact that maybe, just maybe, we finally got a coach in here that is going to use the running back the correct way. That's what I'm most excited for. I got myself all hyped up last year. For those who've been following me long enough, Jason, you already know, dude. I just thought getting DeAndre Swift, I was like, we got that guy, and there's some things that we could do. And I got all hyped, and Brian Johnson didn't do a damn thing. We didn't run no screen plays. We kept running that triple screen right and left, that bubble screen crap. No shifts. We didn't use, we had zero screen game, and they just didn't use him effectively. And he was a difference maker. He was an explosive back. And that's what frustrates me as a running back. 2 years in a row, we had 1,000-yard rusher. And he got that 1,000 yards in spite of what our offense was doing. When Miles Sanders was here, Miles Sanders was a threat when they used him the right way. A lot of people didn't like him, and I was like, I don't understand what y'all problem is. When you use the man in the right way, when you ran him off tackle reads, and all of that kind of stuff, you got to understand what kind of running back you have. If you want to go back, you go back and look when Chip Kelly got DeMarco Murray and tried to run him out of gun formation. DeMarco Murray was a downhill runner that had no business being in the Chip Kelly offense. And then what did they do? They got rid of him. In the first game with a new team, he busted off like a 60-yard run. And it's like, you didn't use him the right way. And we had two backs consecutive years, plus 1,000-yard rushers, and we still didn't use them the right way. So I am hoping. I feel like Schoolhouse Rock. Oh, I hope and pray that I will. But today, I'm hoping he learns how. Kellen Moore knows how to use a running back. Look at his track record with Zeke. Big back like Saquon, not as fast as Saquon, not as explosive as Saquon. Zeke was a downhill runner. Would run you over, get those hard yards, and if you let him get away, he could get outside and run away from you. Saquon can do that. And he's explosive, and he can shake you, and he can outrun you, and he can catch. I would argue that Kellen Moore has the best roster of weapons since 20, I want to say 2021, 2020 or 2021. Because he had 1 year with the Cowboys where Dak Prescott went nuts. Dak Prescott threw for like 49-50 that year. Let me see. I don't know. Let me see. Kellen Moore coach. Yes, I think it was 2019 because he started coaching there at 2018. Kellen Moore. Oh. Yeah, I think he started coaching in 2019. So, coaching career in 2018, after retirement, he became Cowboys coach Wade Wilson. 2019, the Cowboys announced that Moore will be promoted to offensive coordinator following Jason Garrett's release. So I think it was either 2019 or 2020. Dallas went off. Dak went off. And he just kept it going. Bob, that's a good call out. Nnamdi Asomugha was more like what they tried to do last year with James Bradbury. They wanted James Bradbury to play man coverage, and he is not a man. That is not his skill set. That is not his skill set. You look what he did in 2022 when we went to the Super Bowl, minus that BS play they called on him in the Super Bowl. But Bradbury was good. And maybe that's why they don't want to get rid of Bradbury. Maybe they were asking something of him that he wasn't good at doing, but he had to soldier it on because of the situation we were in. Remember, we had a whole bunch of injuries in our secondary last year. So he was forced to be in a situation where he didn't want to be in, but he grinded his way through it and he took the lumps. He took the licks. He took the licks because that's not his forte, but he did it anyway to his detriment. So maybe the promise is, James, we're going to put you back where you're supposed to be, and we're going to play you back how we're supposed to play you to get the most out of you. Because don't forget, he earned that $12 million contract. He had a great year that Super Bowl year. Him and Slade was solid back there. So when the CJ fell through the floor, they signed both of them back, and I thought it was a good idea. I thought it was a good signing. So, I don't know how or why he fell off the cliff so badly last year, but he did. He took it on the chin. That the one thing I've always respected about James Bradbury is he ain't never made excuses. Never. In the Seattle game, he didn't make excuses. He took it on the chin. In the Super Bowl, he didn't make excuses. He took it on the chin. So I've always respected that. But if they can get him back to the position that he's supposed to play, I think he'll be better. So we'll see. We shall see. So good call out by Nnamdi, man. Nnamdi was played out of position too. But I don't feel that bad for Nnamdi because Nnamdi got paid. Nnamdi made a lot of money when we signed him to that contract. But I don't understand why people do that. People do that all the time. And to me, that is a situation where coaches think they're smarter than the game. When you get somebody on your team, I don't care if you're playing or if you're coaching Pee Wee ball all the way up to the pros. When you get somebody on your team, you got to figure out what their skill set is. And then you got to use them to the best of their ability. You don't make a square peg fit in a round hole. You use them to the best of their ability. And you figure out a way to use their abilities to help your situation. And most coaches these days don't do that. Most coaches say, this is our system, and you better figure out a way to play in our system. So there are coaches out there that would rather lose than let a kid go off. Now, there's different situations, obviously. If you got a kid that's just disrespectful, don't listen, and there's some extenuating factors in situations like that. But I've seen guys go to teams, or I've seen coaches hamstring their team because you got a stud player, and because he doesn't, he could jump out the gym, he could run as fast as a gazelle, whatever the situation is, but because that's not the way you do it, your team has to suffer because the best guy on the squad is sitting on the bench. I have seen that before. Some people like that. That's why some people get fired, but there's a lot of coaches that don't. There's a lot of situations where that continues to go on year after year after year. Happens in the pros a lot. You got a young kid that can't play, or he doesn't have the gravitas because he was undrafted, or he was a low draft pick, and you done already given this high draft pick all of this money, and you give his leash is long. When you sign them big contracts, your leash is long because they done already invested that much money in you. And then you see what happens. But I'm hoping that with Kellen Moore, with Vic Fangio, and I'm hoping Nick Sirianni can learn some things and just be better for it. That's a little bit. I don't think that what was happening last year. I think that had more to do with Jalen's injury. To me, Jalen wasn't healthy until that game against Seattle. So, um, you know, because if you go back and watch the tape, Bob, Jalen took a lot of sacks that he shouldn't have because he couldn't take off in the pocket, whether he just didn't have the knee strength or whatever. But there was some sacks he took last year that the year before he would have broke out and ran away from him. And he couldn't do that because of whatever that injury was with his knee. So, yeah, man, Philly, it's politics, bro. It's politics. There were plenty of people that should have been in the league that aren't, and there are plenty of people that are in the league that shouldn't be. Absolutely. In every baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, whatever your sport is, if there's a professional level of it, you will always find people that are playing that shouldn't be. And you can attach whatever ism that you want to attach, whether it's favoritism, colorism, racism, nepotism, whatever you want to assign to it. The answer is yes. It happens. It happens. Whenever you hear somebody, um, if you know somebody that used to play in the league, or somebody that went to a pro camp but didn't make the team, why didn't you make the team? Watch what a lot of them say. Oh man, they told me it was a numbers game, and that's a real thing. We got too many wide receivers. We know you're good, but we just can't. This guy's on contract. We just paid him this much money, so we got to play him. We can't cut him because we just gave him a signing bonus of $200,000, and he's on a 3-year deal, and we already paid him, so we got to play him. So we can't cut him. You just got here, even though clearly you are better than that guy. What's the guy that Smitty? What was his first name? What was the receiver? What was the receiver that played for Jacksonville? Last name Smith. Jacksonville Jags receiver. What was his name? Jimmy Smith. We called him Smitty. Jimmy Smith was a rookie with us in the Eagles, and they cut him. He was good, and they cut him. He was in my rookie class. They kept him on practice squad for a little bit, and eventually they cut him. He goes down to Jacksonville, 5 straight Pro Bowls. How does that happen? We had a guy on our squad that was our version of Julian Edelman. His name was Tommy Garlick. Dude caught everything, played special teams, could punt return. He could do everything. Cut him. Because we had Victor Bailey was in my class. Victor Bailey was from Missouri. Calvin Williams was under contract. He wasn't going anywhere. Victor Bailey was a 2nd-round draft pick. We had Jeff Seidner, who was our special teams guy. And Tommy Garlick was better. But they cut him. That's just the way that it goes. That's the numbers game. So happens all the time. All the time. Yeah, Fred, my boy Fred, Arkansas Fred, that's my dude. I need to get Fred on here, man. I ain't talked to Fred in a minute. I only see Fred at like I had Fred on my podcast back when I first started this podcast, and I was doing a traditional audio only podcast. Fred was one of my guests on there. But I gotta try to get Fred on the mic. I know he's done some things with Irvin, so I gotta reach out to him. But yeah, man. Everybody, it ain't always fair. Let me say it like that. It is not equal. It is not fair. It's a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of politics. What site do I use to watch film? I'll either watch the NFL.com, like the all 22, or I was doing one thing where I was on some site and the guy had the all 22 films and I could watch that. But it's so many people with good content. And I can just watch it. For me right now, it's easier to watch the broadcast, because a lot of times, like on NFL.com, if you want to watch the end zone copy or something like that, you can see it, but the way they break it up, they do different things, so somebody just can't record it and try to resell it or repurpose it or something like that. So what they do is every play is like a clip, and if you've ever watched it, the interface of the video board comes up, so you see the play button and you see the scrubber and all of this stuff pops up, and you see the play button in the middle, and it stays on the screen for like 5 seconds. So you got a clear screen for about 5 to 10 seconds, then it comes back up. And if you want to scrub back and watch something again, it stays up again. So it's very disruptive, in my opinion. So I don't like watching that. I would rather go on, NFL Network and just watch a replay of the game. But sometimes when you get the all 22, you can get a clear copy. It's fun to watch stuff like that. So between that and listening to like Baldy and Greg Cosell, big shout out to, there's another guy that I watch. Apparently he used to be a scout for the SEC. I forget what his name is. His site is called Top Billing. I don't know him, but I watch his content because he knows how to break down film and he knows how to break down players because he used to be a scout, and you can hear his lingo and see the things that he watches. You can tell he knows what he's talking about. So Baldy, and Baldy's a friend of mine. We played together. And then you got Greg Cosell at NFL Films. Greg Cosell probably watches more tape than Baldy, and that's saying something. I talk to Barrett all the time. Barrett Brooks watches a lot of film. Yeah, and this dude, Top Billing. Yeah, Philly, Top Billing. He knows his stuff, don't he? He knows his stuff, and you can just listen to what he talks about, and techniques and alignment and um like placement technique, hand placement, foot placement, how you ripping and different things like that, things that a scout will look for. Yeah, I know Freddie's out there. Yeah, he was last time I talked to Freddie, he was out there. He's been out there for a while. So, but yeah, man. I watch quarterback school with TJ what's his name? TJ what's his name? TJ play for the what is his name? The quarterback school. Why am I blanking on everybody, man? It's called the QB. I'm telling you, man, getting old sucks, bro. QB. It's called the quarterback school, and it is what is his name? JT O'Sullivan, the quarterback school. Now, if you like to watch quarterback play, this dude breaks it down. He keeps it real. He has no bias towards one player or another, but he just breaks it down like I like his 5-step drop. He's getting it a little bit too deep. He's very technical when it comes to how the quarterback throws the ball and why do you throw at this receiver when you got a guy right open? Throw the guy. I know it's a small window, but that's your best option. You got to be able to. He really breaks it down, and he has a very real world approach that I like. I was trying to get him on the show, and then his YouTube channel just blew up. Just blew up. We have been going back and forth on via email from his YouTube channel, and I was talking to him about getting him on the show. We were talking about doing something after, he was going away on vacation for summer, and we was like, okay, when he gets back, let's see if we can do something, make it work. And then they featured one of his videos, I think on NFL Network, I think it was, on one of the shows, and then his YouTube channel just went through the roof. So, but yeah, like those are the people. He's good. And yeah, find somebody that that watches tape. So there's some guys out there that can really talk the talk. But all right, fellas, I'm gonna get ready to shut it down. I didn't even get to the Sixers. Let's just hope Joel Embiid's knee holds up. We'll just make that a quick conversation. So, but I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna give me something to eat, give me some ice cream, and shut it down. Make sure my wife's okay, and we're gonna keep it moving. Going forward, sometime after the draft, I am going to be looking to go 5 days streaming all 5 days. Now, what I'm debating now is, should I stay at 9:30? Should I kick it back to 10? Because if I kick it back to 10, I can get more West Coast people. So I'm working on that. Nothing is for certain. I'm still playing around with some things. Just trying to figure out ways to make it better, man. So if you guys have got any suggestions, I appreciate it. You know what they say. If you are the smartest person in the room, find a new room. And I am not by far the smartest person in here. So you got any ideas, suggestions? As a coach, I am always coachable. So I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate you guys. Bob, great conversation today, bro. I appreciate you. Philly. Don Vaughn, man. Don't be a stranger, man. Next time you come back, you might have a wrench, bro. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Chris Bruce, Jason Sink. Who else was in here? Go all the way up. Bow 316 was in here. Appreciate you, bro. And who's first out the limo? Little G Griffith was first out the limo, man. I appreciate you guys, man. So I'm gonna bug out. I will be back Wednesday at lunch. I'm gonna do my live at lunch on Wednesday, and then 7:00 on Thursday for the draft. You know what? It will be 7:00 because I'm normally 7:00 on Thursday anyways, so that's not gonna change. So Thursday 7 p.m. draft day, be there. All right. So I'm gonna get up out of here, gonna have some fun, and we're gonna keep it moving. So I will talk to you guys in the next one. Go Birds.